video on using up some leftovers from work. So I made some leek and potato soup, which is particularly delicious. I used ham stock for a base, and then I took the fat and the skin off the excess fat and skin off the ham, and I rendered the lard out of that skin. And there's always there's always a bit of like jelly, and then like a little bit of like sediment type of thing after I've scooped off the lard from the rendering process. And I didn't want to waste it, so I strained it, I put it in the soup, and it made it absolutely delicious and creamy. Not something you can kind of replicate at home, but I've eaten it all week. I've had it like 3 times this week for my lunch, and it's been delicious. I don't want to waste it. So what we're going to do today is, so what we're going to do today is we're going to do like a pasta bake, and we're going to use, I've got some leeks and we've got some leeks and we've got some onions. So we're going to sweat those down, and then we're going to add the leek and potato soup and use that as the sauce in the pasta bake. So do layers of lasagna sheets and then soup and vegetables, and then dot a few other things in as well, but things that I just want to kind of have a bit of a faff around with. So let's get that soup out of the way. Oh, and then we're going to use the soup to top off the pasta bake, and then we'll put on some cheese that I've got, grated cheese that I've had in the freezer as well. Because I was thinking last week, I made myself a pasta bake last week, and I kicked myself for not I made a white sauce, and then I remembered I had the leek and potato soup in the fridge, and I kind of thought, I kicked myself, and I kind of thought, that would have been really good to use the leek and potato soup as the actual sauce on top of the pasta bake. So we're going to put the sauce on the top of the pasta bake as well, and we'll put some cheese on as well. So I've got some things to use up, and I wanted to kind of try. I think we will add to the richness of the pasta bake. I've got some leftover feta from work. We will crumble that up and put that in through the layers. We'll put cheese on some of the top of the pasta bake and crisp that up. But also I've got some fried breadcrumbs, which could probably do with using up as well. So these are just some breadcrumbs that I fried in a bit of olive oil, which had been in the cupboard. So I kind of thought, well, we'll use those up as well on the top, so we can get like we don't have to use cheese on the top. We can use some fried breadcrumbs. And then these are Parmesan crisps. So this is the skin? The rind from the cheese. So Parmesan cheese, well, hard Italian cheese. By the time you've got down to the rind, that's a bit unusable. So what you can do is you either stick it in the freezer and use it in a risotto or a soup or a stew or something along those lines to kind of enrich it and give it that umami kind of flavour. Or what you can do is you can stick the rind in the microwave for a minute and a half, something like that, on full power. And what it does is it crisps them up, and they turn like that. So these Parmesan crisps. And what I've done in other recipes is I've crunched these up and stirred them into pasta, and they're really nice. You get that, if you do it at the last minute, you get this crunchy, cheesy umami kind of flavour, which you wouldn't expect from the rinds, but it kind of works. So I kind of thought what we'll do as well is we'll crunch some of those, and we'll put in those in kind of like the layers as well. So we might do the feta at one side, we might do the Parmesan crisps at the other side. Now, to get a load of Parmesan hard Italian cheese rinds, that's going to be kind of quite difficult. So I kind of thought, well, let's see if we can. We'll get those out of the way. Oh yeah, there's for the sake of the recipe, there is 600 grams worth of leeks, and then there is a kilo of onions, and then how much cheese have we got? 180 grams worth of feta, 150 grams worth of cheap cheddar. So what I thought is we could see if we'll get a knife, because I'm always prepared. Can we replicate see, that's the rind at the end of there, but can we take shards of hard Italian cheese and put those in the microwave, and will they crisp up like the rind does? So I'll put that on a plate, stick it in the microwave for a minute and a half, and we'll see what happens. But I'll pause because you don't need to hear the microwave pinging and me waffling on about stuff. Right, so that hasn't really worked, but what it has done is it created a Parmesan tuile. So we should be able to use that in the same kind of way. So a little crisp up. Yeah, that's kind of crisp up. I mean, it's not. It probably wants a little bit longer. Let's get that fat off the plate. So we don't want to sit in the fat. The only danger now is it might stick to the paper towel. Can we just get rid of the excess fat and then just stick it back in the microwave and see what happens? Maybe. Right, so I've just had it back in the microwave for 30 seconds. We'll see if it crisps up. Now, we used to do those when I worked in proper restaurants. We used to do those underneath the grill, but doing them in the microwave seems to work better. But anyway, so we'll see if that goes crisp. But yeah, it's going to go crisp. That's going to go crisp. Yeah, so that'll go crisp. Then we'll be able to crunch that up, and then be able to put it in the pasta bake. So that is an alternative. So you don't need to save lots and lots of Parmesan rinds. Sorry, hard Italian cheese rinds, and then do them that way. Does it taste the same? See, it's gone crunchy. That's nice. That works. So you don't need to save up your Parmesan rinds. You can simply make some Parmesan tuiles like that, and they won't. I seem to remember that once you melt cheese, it won't remelt. So I don't think those will disintegrate as we cook them in the oven, but we'll find out. So I'll do some prep, I'll do some cooking, and then we're back when we are going to put everything together. The leeks and the onions have been cooked down. We have 1.2 kilos worth of soup. So let's add some soup and see how we go. I've got a little bit more soup than this, so I've got plenty for the top as well. So what do we reckon? 3 of those. Doesn't want to be any more liquid than that. I don't think. The pasta's going to soak up some of the liquid, and it needs that liquid to cook. You can't bake pasta. And I certainly can't bake dry pasta. So, do I think that's going to be enough? Maybe another one. I'd rather have it a little bit loose. And then we need to taste. Probably got a little bit too much soup left over. It's nice, needs a bit of salt. And a little bit more pepper. And it will do. Give that a second just to the salt to melt. Now, how much soup did we use? Alright, okay, so we used half that, so we used 600. Was it 1.2 or 1.8? There is 600 grams left. I can't remember what it was. Was it 1.2 or 1.8? 1.8, I think, wasn't it? But anyway, I'll rewatch the video and then we'll do a proper recipe in the description. I'll get some stuff together and then we'll start laying this up. Right, so I've actually put a little bit more in, so there's 300 grams left in that container. I'll be able to do the calculations from that. So I'm going to put a little bit more in because I'm going to do 2 containers. I'm going to have one over the next couple of days, and then the other one can go into the freezer. I don't think it was too wet. We'll see. So I just kind of want to judge it. So, since I'm making a bit more, I do prefer more pasta and less sauce when I'm doing things like this, because that is the idea of pasta, is to bulk things out. So then just dry pasta sheets. If I was using fresh, I'd make it a little bit drier, but just snap off the corners so they fit into the corners a little bit better, and then snap them in half. They can overlay. I'm not that bothered. Why would we not have lots of pasta? So, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do, and then I'll finish it off. I can't see the point in me doing all the layers, but once we've got an idea of what the layers are going to be, we'll just repeat the process until we run out of stuff. So, how was I going to do this? Right, that's fine. So, I can just go out the way first. I think yes, that was going to be it, wasn't it? So we're going to do, I think I've got too much. No, I haven't got too much of this feta, because we're making two. So if we do soft feta with crunchy breadcrumbs on one side, and we do crispy Parmesan, and we do soft melted cheese on top on the other side. So that on one side, maybe a little bit more. That on one side like that. Let's be generous with the cheese. Give it a bowl of water, but not to worry. And then those dotted through there, so that's still nice and crispy, like that. And then layer of pasta on top, like that. And then just repeat the process, and then we'll top off with more soup, and then we'll do crispy breadcrumbs on that side, and we'll do soft cheese on that side. So, ran out of filling, but not to worry. So, that's the Parmesan side, that's the feta side. I'm not going to heat this up, I'm just going to put it on top. So, I could have done with just that amount of leeks and onions and soup just to do this one container, which is about 6 inches by 10, something like that, and then deep, whatever it is. Now, I like quite a lot of sauce on top, and I put a layer of pasta underneath the sauce on top. That one's going to go in the freezer, so I'm going to heat. It's been around for a week now as this soup, so it needs heating up before it sticks in the freezer, just to kill any yeast or bacteria, which is not something you're supposed to do, which breaks all the rules of food hygiene in kitchens. You don't do that. You don't reheat something after a few days so you can keep it a few more days in the freezer. You don't do that. However, I'm at home, and anything that I do at home is entirely up to me. So we wanted crunch on one side, didn't we? So breadcrumbs on this side, because that's the feta side. I think we'll just use what we have. I might put some breadcrumbs in the layers on that one, just to use these breadcrumbs up. So that's the cheap thing to do, is use some breadcrumbs instead of cheese. I forgot what the Italians call it. It's certainly a thing in southern Italy. And then we'll see what weight of cheese we've got, and we can get an idea of a recipe. So 150 grams. So we'll end up putting about 100 grams on this side. So 150 grams would do it all, but we'll be generous on this one side. And then we'll put it in the oven. Put it in the oven when I go swimming, about 125, because I'll be out of the house for about an hour and a half, something like that, while I go swimming. And then it'll be just need 20 minutes on a high temperature just to crisp it up. But I think that's going to be a delicious dinner for me tonight. I'm not going out, so I can eat as much as I want. So that's that. We're back when it's cooked. This one, I'll just layer it up with the soup and some breadcrumbs, and we'll kind of see how that goes, and then that can go in the freezer. Smells ready. Let's have a look. Oh, that's certainly ready. That's certainly ready. Let's just give it, turn the oven off, Let's just give it 5 minutes or 10 minutes just to cool down and set up just a little bit. That'll be, that should be lovely. Right, so, scissors to cut through cheese. Probably had longer than 10 minutes, but it doesn't really matter. It's going to stay hot. So, something to cut through it a little bit. So if we take a piece from the end, we'll definitely know that it's got some of the insides in it, won't we? Not the camera. It looks alright. Looks alright. So that's got the breadcrumbs on top and the feta. In it we can see lots of feta, make it nice and rich and luxurious. And that's got the crunchy Parmesan in. We'll see if it's still crunchy. So how does this taste? That's very nice. Now, what does this bit taste like? So, talking in the mouth, aren't I? The Parmesan's softened, but you can certainly taste something there, like that umami background kind of flavour. So, that's certainly a bit of Parmesan there. That's lovely, isn't it? So, I did have an idea while I was swimming, and I'll do it, and it'll be the next video. Now I was thinking, could we make it with, I'll make some soup next week, because I'll be wanting some from lunchtime, lunch on Monday. So I'll make some soup, I'll make some onion soup, and I'll go out and I'll buy some tins of soup, and see if we can replicate it, and see if we can kind of make it cheaper. So I'll make like an onion soup, not French onion, just like a white onion soup, and then we'll buy some tins of maybe some, we'll see what there is and see what the prices they are, but see if we can do this kind of really kind of quite cheap. We might be able to buy some leek soup, a bit like mushroom or maybe chicken soup, and layers of pasta soup, and then on top we can go for what we got. We can go for a bit of cheese, like finish it off with the soup on top. But and we'll see how that turns out. But that'll be the next video. But this is lovely, and I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it. A success.